Hey Knights, okay, so this is chapter 4 to 6. So this is chapter 4. I sat up on the bar and styled. Mid-applause radiated throughout the tent. I saw something that caught my eye. In the VIP section was a woman, a beautiful woman with long, dark hair and a traditional gypsy dress. Weird, I thought to myself as I laid back on the bar. After the show finale, I was headed back to my trailer to change and take a hot shower. I stepped inside and was greeted by the sight of the woman in the gypsy dress. I stood there, just stunned. Wow, she was more beautiful in person. Wait, how'd you get in here? The show hadn't even started letting people out of the tent yet. Hello, Roxanne, she greeted me calmly. Who are you and what are you doing in here? I asked. My name is Annika. I'm the patron goddess of travelers, she replied in a thick Romanian accent. Yeah, right, more like the patron god of nut jobs. Yeah, and I'm the slayer. Ask me how, I said sarcastically. She smiled. You have a spark. My brother was right about you. Your brother? I just want this crazy lady out of my trailer. Death, of course. You've cheated him twice. Okay, now she was starting to freak me out. Look, lady, I don't know who you are, but I'm here to grant you a gift. She cut me off. I'm going to make you a traveler. I was about to throw her out, but something told me to let her finish. A what? Lady, I already travel for a living. My contract with this show isn't up for another year. So if you're recruiting for another show, a long time ago you made a wish. A wish to travel to impossible places. I'm here to grant it, she said sincerely, but slightly annoyed. What wish? I asked. She waved her hand and a letter appeared in it. She handed it to me. It was in a child's scrawled handwriting. I recognized it immediately. This was one of my first grade projects from before the accident. After learning about the story of the 1001 Nights and watching the movie Aladdin, my homeschool project was to write a letter to the genie with my greatest wish. It was hard to make out. Dear Genie, I wish to have the powers to travel into books and movies. Sincerely, Roxanne. My face went blank. How did you get this? She smiled. Magic, my dear. Ha ha ha, yeah. I laughed slightly. You don't believe in magic? Lady, I've worked with more magicians than I can count. I know this was enough copper wire and a few mirror tricks. You can make the Empire State Building disappear. That made her laugh. Child, I assure you, she said as she disappeared in a flash of green and reappeared sitting on the couch. Magic is as real as the sun and the wind. I was stunned. Sit, child. I sat in the lazy boy across from her. If I told you I could grant this wish, would you still want it? I nodded, probably more out of shock than anything else. What if I granted you the power to visit these worlds? She pointed at my table to the unorganized stack of DVDs, comic books, and novels. That's impossible. Those places aren't real. They are works of fiction. The words rushed out of my mouth. Do you understand the theory of parallel worlds, or shall I explain it? No, I watch Doctor Who and read comic books. I know what a parallel world is, I said, thinking back to some really awful parallel Earth Batman comics I've read. She smiled again. Well, there are worlds out there where each and every one of these people and places exist. I didn't believe her. But there are just works of fictions, written by writers, or acted by actors. That is only on this version of Earth. They just works of fiction here on Earth 1. That is just their existence here. But they do exist somewhere else. In an infinite amount of parallel universes, every piece of fiction, every version of a story, is a universe somewhere else, she replied calmly. But the actors. Wait, are you telling me that somewhere out there David Tennant really is the Doctor? I asked hesitantly. Yes. Still unbelieving. But the books and novels, how? Existence in one universe doesn't necessarily need be in a physical form in another. Existing in people's beliefs or imagination is still an existence. Inspiration to create or write isn't always a random act, child. I guess a normal person would probably not have understood a single thing she just said. But if you've watched as many science fiction movies as I have, you'd get it too. And I think she knew that. I, as the patron god of travelers, need someone to travel between them, to keep the connection alive, or else the universe will disconnect and crumble. Every time a being travels between the worlds, it strengthens the bonds between them, and I want you. Why me? You've cheated my brother twice now. You've managed to escape against all impossible odds, 2 very fatal means of death, and emerged with only minor cuts and bruises. Her tone became more determined. Beings of higher power, such as myself, do not believe in such a coincidence. There is a reason why you survived that crash when your family did not. while you fell 25 feet head first and only tore a muscle in your knee. My stomach twinged at the mention of my family's death. I can't give you back your family, which is what I know what more than anything, but I can give you something that will make your whole life an adventure. I want to give you the ability to not only travel back and forth between worlds, but to be able to take on at will the talents and abilities of the greatest and most powerful force for good in that parallel version of Earth. I raised my eyebrow, still not believing any of it. Or, in understandable terms, the main character. She grinned at that statement. Yes, the main character. You need to be able to adapt to these worlds. Your traveling to these Earths will not affect the fiction on this one, and after you leave, the beings you encounter will forget your existence unless you choose otherwise. Time for you will not pass here on Earth 1 during the time you are gone. You would return to the exact second you left from, in the exact state you left from, meaning your body here will not have aged or show injuries that you may encounter in parallel Earths. But, I cut in, there are so many different versions of some of these stories. Just thinking of all these possibilities is giving me a headache. She snapped her fingers, and a gold ring with a gem that exactly matched the shade of her green eyes appeared in her hands. Chapter 5. I woke up in my PJs, curled up in my bed. Weird dream. Funny, I don't remember getting into bed yesterday. The warm sun streamed in through the blinds of my trailer windows. I stretched and climbed out of my bed, looked in the mirror, and realized I had slept with my heavy show makeup still caked onto my face. Ugh, this cannot be good for my skin, I thought to myself as I reached under the sink for my box of makeup wipes. After jumping in the shower, brushed my teeth, and put on some light makeup, I changed into a pair of black jeans, a blue top, and my combat boots. I slid open my bedroom door and stepped into my kitchen living room area to get a bowl of cereal. As I grabbed a bowl from the cabinet, I saw my guardian Tina through the window of her trailer, making breakfast. She smiled at me. I waved, then continued making my cereal. A green glint caught the corner of my eye. I turned and saw it on my table, on top of a piece of paper. The green ring from my dream. I picked it up to examine it. I slid it on my ring finger. A perfect fit. I guess it wasn't a dream after all. Wait, am I actually wanting to believe this crazy shit? A note? I picked it up. No, child, it wasn't a dream. You're a traveler now, so act like it. This ring will only work for you. Picture the parallel world you wish to go to. Then turn the ring clockwise. The ring will need some time to charge between trips. The charge time will vary between each trip. Live your dream, Annika. P.S. Since your essence was not created in whatever universe you choose to visit, it cannot be destroyed. In other words, you cannot die. I hope I remembered everything. Good luck. I set down the letter. No way. I grinned and took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and pictured where I wanted to be. Then I turned to the ring. After another deep breath, I opened my eyes, and I was still in my trailer. Well, Roxanne, that's what you get for getting your hopes up and believing delusional trespassers. Suddenly, I was surrounded by green smoke. I felt a falling sensation. I fell down hard on my ass. I opened my eyes, and I was sitting on the pavement, in the middle of New York City, Times Square to be exact. I mean, I've never been there, but I've seen enough movies to know. I looked down at my ring. The color of the gem had gone from a bright emerald to a dark, almost black shade of green. The energy must need time to recharge. Too bad the patron god of travelers couldn't have been a bit more specific. I put my hands to my head. Here I was, sitting in the middle of New York, in what I believed to be the parallel turtle universe. People not even noticing me as they passed by. Wait, how did I know I was in a parallel Earth? How did I know I wasn't just knocked out and dumped in New York City? Adrenaline started to pump. I stood up and began walking. I didn't have a direction in mind, but I guess you can't get lost if you don't know where you're going. Boy, was I wrong. It was almost sundown, and I had no idea what I was doing or where I was. Buildings everywhere and no natural grass in sight. I came into a poorer neighborhood. That's when it hit me what a bad idea this was. Sure, she said I couldn't die, but there are a lot more worse things than a psychopath could do to you than just kill you. God, Roxanne, you're such an idiot. Chapter 6. I heard a rustling sound coming from the giant halfway run-down warehouse, then a scream that was quickly muffled. I ducked into the alleyway beside the building and peeked inside a window. No way. Inside were several very large, burly gang members covered in dragon tattoos. Purple dragon tattoos, to be exact. She was right. I am a traveler. A middle-aged, bald, slightly heavy-set security guard was being tied up and gagged. I stepped in an old wooden crate trying to get a better look, and with my luck, the crate broke under my weight. A big mustache guy spotted me. I heard the words, "Get her," as I turned to run away. But a giant hand reached through the window and dragged me in. As I was being pulled through, I felt cold feeling run through my body. What the? The dude whose hand was connected to my shoulder yelled, "She's one of those mutants." Excuse me? Who was he calling a mutant? I'm not a mutant, you freak, I yelled. I pointed at him as I yelled. My hand. Oh my god, my hand was green, and I only had 3 large fingers. What the hell? All of a sudden there was a crash. Glass rained everywhere. The dragging guy released my arm and ran towards the door. Something hit me on the top of my head hard. I felt weak and collapsed to the floor. My vision started to blur. Before I passed out, I swear I saw 4 sets of green feet coming towards me. I was in a long white hallway. I looked down. I was dressed in a long white plush bathrobe. It was like something out of the Matrix. "Hello?" I cried. "Is anybody here?" "Hello, child," a warm Romanian voice greeted me. It was the goddess. Her beautiful colored skirts lit up against the complete whiteness of the room. "What's going on? Where am I?" I asked nervously. "Your mind is in the realm between realms. I brought you here to clarify a few things that I sense I neglected to tell you, or things you needed to ask me," she said coolly. "You're dreaming. Your body is still on Earth 6304. Only your conscious is here. Okay, first off, how did I turn into a turtle back in the warehouse?" She chuckled. "I told you that you would take on the characteristics of the universe you choose to visit. To visit's greatest icon for good, and in this case, certain mutant frogs. Your ring was forged in a universe similar to one from that silly Earth 1 comic book, The Green Lantern. Your ring works almost similar, on basically your willpower. You are in danger and your ring sensed it, but you can change it at will. It just takes some concentration and practice." "That's a lot to take in," I sighed. "Listen, traveler, I have a rule I forgot to tell you earlier." Her voice taking on a more serious tone. "You must not tell anyone about me or how you got the ring. As far as I care, you're the goddess of travel. Just leave me out of it. I have enough worshippers as it is. Any more in the wrong universe will upset the balance. Understand?" I nodded. She grinned. "Look, child, you're living your greatest dream. Have fun with it. Live a little for me, okay?" Dudes, turtle or chick, she's a total babe," a sweet voice with a hint of a surfer dude accent spoke. "Mikey. Oh, that had to be Michelangelo." "Well, considering we've never met another mutant turtle, let alone one that transforms into a human, but yeah, I guess you could say she's very pretty." "Aw," Dunny, I thought to myself. We don't know she is or what she wants, but bros, you are right. She's fine." A tough New York accent sounded from beside me. I started to move and started to open my eyes. "She's awake!" Leonardo's voice rang out. "Mikey," I said as I opened my eyes, "if you say bodacious, I will kiss you," I said sarcastically as my eyes were greeted by the sight of my favorite mutated heroes. God. Okay, I can't read, obviously. Alrighty. So yeah, that was chapter 4 to 6. Alrighty. Peace out, Knights.